There we go. It's not a Zoom meeting if you don't talk while you're muted. Hello and welcome to yet another one of our StriveScan and IACAC presentations. I do want to take a moment to thank you for taking the time to tune in. And of course, whether this is your first or whether this is yet another one for you, just have some quick information for you. This session is being recorded, so you'll be able to check it out later if there's parts that you want to come back to. But even though you can see us and hear us, we cannot see or hear you. Your camera and your microphone are off. So if you do have questions, please utilize the Q&A function. You'll see a button that says Q&A. You can just type your question right in there. It goes directly to the presenters, so no one else really sees it. So if you have something that you just want to ask them. Also at iacac.org, you can see these recorded sessions. So you can see a whole ton of ones just like this about college, and also just general information about the college admission or financial aid process. So head to iacac.org to check out that. I'll stop sharing my screen and turn it over.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I know your time is super valuable, so we always appreciate any time that you have to share with us. So I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Casey Evans, and I am our Associate Dean of Admissions at Illinois Wesleyan. I'm also an alum from the class of 2012. I'm so excited to share my experience with you and certainly any new stuff that's popped up since then. I also have with me my colleague, Emily. So Emily, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name's Emily. I also am one of the admissions counselors at Illinois Wesleyan and actually also an alum graduating in 2016. And today I will be manning your Q&A. So I will be in that chat, and please feel free to send your questions my way.
Yeah, so I'll kind of dive into the presentation. As Emily noted, please feel free, ask questions throughout. If it's a private question, that's okay too. Emily can just answer you privately, or she can save it, and at the end, I can answer it to the group if it's something we think everyone would love to hear the answer to. But again, hello and welcome. So in general, if this is your first time interacting with us at Illinois Wesleyan, I think some of the important things to note are that we are a small private liberal arts university. I know that can feel a little bit like jargon. It's a lot of buzzwords thrown into there. So I'll try to break it down for you to essentially kind of let you know, okay, here's what each piece of this puzzle means for us specifically at Illinois Wesleyan. So we'll start out with our size. We are a small school. With that, we have approximately 1,700 students on campus, and we're undergrad only. So that's something that's really distinctive and really important to us in our experiences. We want to make sure that really from day one, you are the top student on campus. You're never going to be competing with graduate or PhD level students for research opportunities or performance opportunities, anything along those lines. All of our attention and our faculty attention is on you as a student. On a similar note, all of your classes are going to be taught by professors. So we don't have the grad and PhD students on campus. So on the same note, they're not teaching our classes. You're really going to have that close student to faculty interaction within your classes. So you can see here sort of our student to faculty ratio. I think that's a little bit hard to conceptualize because in general, we don't walk around campus in groupings of 11 students to one faculty member. So a little bit hard to conceptualize that, but easier to imagine our average class size, which is about 16 students. So I'm guessing in most cases that might be a little bit smaller than you're used to in high school. In some cases, pretty similar to your high school experience, but really it's going to aid itself to that interactive piece. Now, this next question I would normally try to quiz you on, but based on the webinar, it's going to be a little hard to quiz you. So I'll just kind of tell you our physical campus space for anyone that hasn't visited before is actually 82 acres. So I think sometimes that surprises people. You hear, okay, small school, that's going to mean a really small campus, you know, maybe just a few res halls, maybe a few classroom buildings, but that's not the case for us. We're really a pretty good sized campus. So really in terms of small, I like to think of it as small class sizes, small population, but we're on a medium physical space type campus in a big college town. So here is a photo that you will not see at Illinois Wesleyan. We do not have classes that look like this. Honestly, I think this is like a very frightening photo right now in COVID times. This is like one of the scariest photos we could all probably look at. But even once we're back to normal, this is not how our classroom experience will look for you. Instead, this is more similar to what you can expect from your classroom experience. So really, really interactive, really hands-on. You can see most of the photos here. So the 4 left-hand photos here all have faculty pictured in them interacting with our students. That top center photo, not too hard to convince faculty to host class outside when the weather's really nice. So definitely worth asking. I know the top left photo is some of our physics students with one of my favorite faculty members. So definitely lots of mentorship and lots of learning opportunities that you'll have throughout your time here. So I mentioned kind of that big college town piece. So unfortunately, I can't ask where you're all from, but I'd love to chat with you later and hear more about your hometowns and where you're from. But with us, our hometown is Bloomington Normal. So we're the Twin Cities of Bloomington Normal, and I've heard us described as a suburb without a city, and I think that's pretty fair. So if any of you are going to be coming down to us from the Chicago suburbs, from the city of Chicago, no, we do not have Chicago right here, but we have a lot of the amenities that you might be missing from home. So you're still going to have access to Target and Ulta. We still have a Giordano's and a Portillo's and Oberweis and all of that sort of good stuff. But actually, I would say my favorite parts of town are our 2 more local areas. So since we're the twin towns of Bloomington Normal, we have both a downtown in Bloomington and then uptown in the city of Normal. And both have some kind of unique characteristics. So downtown Bloomington has a really cool like local farm to table restaurant scene that's popped up recently. I know Emily and I and our colleague Claire, one of our favorite restaurants to go to is called Anju Above. So really great sushi and other kind of locally sourced foods. Definitely, I'd say a great place to take your parents when they visit, a great sit down restaurant style in downtown Bloomington. They also have a really cool weekly farmers market that's a ton of fun, so that's worth checking out. And then on the flip side, Uptown Normal is located right on Illinois State University's campus. So for those that didn't know, we're just a mile down the street from ISU. That's really great. So if you want to go down and see a Division I basketball game, a mile walk, and you can go check that out. Same thing, we'll see their students heading down to check out our games, check out some of our theater productions, or just spend time with friends. So the Uptown Normal area is going to be kind of the all you can imagine college food venue. All of your cheap calzones, your cookies, late night ice cream and coffee, everything along those lines is going to be available. And it's all around like a really pretty mini quad area that you can see in that bottom photo, the right-hand photo, that when the weather's nice, there's little pop-up concerts and musicians and things like that. So a pretty nice town, definitely more to explore than I think you imagine when you picture yourself heading down to central Illinois. So lots to explore and lots of fun in our community. So this next piece of the puzzle, I actually think is probably a little nerdy to admit, but it's one of my favorite things about Illinois Wesleyan, and it is our academic calendar. So we are on a schedule that is called a 4-4-1 schedule. What that means is that you will do 4 months in the fall where you take approximately 4 classes. You'll have 4 months in the spring where you're going to take approximately 4 classes. That's all that you need to graduate on time. So that's kind of our standard process. Your typical school year will just be those 2 semesters with approximately 8 classes total during the year. But we give you the opportunity to have a 1-month May term experience where you would just take 1 class for the month of May. So essentially with this, we are condensing the whole semester down into 1 month. You're just going to be in class half the day. So it's kind of a cool time to dive a little bit more deeply into a subject because you're on an expedited path with that coursework. And honestly, I will see different students choose to take May terms for many different reasons. So some students might say, you know what, I need this specific class to graduate. It's a part of my major, and I'm a little bit nervous about it. I think it's going to be difficult for me. So if I take it during May term, all of my study time is focused just on this class. I don't need to stress. I'm good to go. I can spend all my study time. Other students honestly choose to take them because they're really fun. Our professors know that you're only in one class. They know you have that free time. So it's pretty normal for them to add on hands-on experiments, to take you on a field trip. Really anything along those lines is fair game. So a few examples that always come to mind for me. One class that I think is really cool is called Chemistry in the Kitchen. So that class, you are studying chemistry. It's a chemistry credit, but you are doing it by baking and cooking and studying the chemical reactions through that class. Another class that's kind of fun is an environmental studies course offered during May term, where they'll take a camping trip. So instead of just looking at pictures and slides and movies, you're actually going out into the environment to run your experiments and fully immerse yourself in the culture that you're studying. So those are kind of just some basic opportunities for the May term experience. You also are able to do research during that month of May or participate in an internship opportunity. Both of those are really, really popular for our students. So definitely things that are pretty common for us. But this last piece hopefully is a little bit exciting for you. So you could also do a travel course for that May term trip. So I guess normally I would ask if anyone's interested in study abroad. Unfortunately, I won't get to see live if your answer to that question is yes, but I hope you might be. With study abroad, May term is just one option of many. So if you choose to study abroad during your May term, you're going to go with a professor and with a group of students from campus all together as a group. So that's a great way to fit it in if maybe you're really busy, maybe you're a student athlete, or maybe you're conducting research with faculty, so you don't want to miss a semester of school. May term's a great way to still fit in a study abroad experience while being on campus during the typical semesters. Or honestly, maybe you're like me. When I was a student, I really wanted to go abroad, but I was kind of nervous. I didn't feel quite prepared to be totally on my own in a country abroad. So May term was a great fit. I still got to explore and learn a lot in Italy where I went, but I had that kind of safety net of, okay, my professors are with me, my classmates are with me. I'm not totally on my own for this experience. That being said, maybe you are one of those people that says, yes, I 100% want to study abroad for a full semester. If that is you, have no fear. That is very, very common. So 41% of our students do study abroad while they're here. So it's very possible. And you can see on this slide, we have tons of different semester and school year long programs. A few that I personally like to highlight, the first ones I highlight are always the Illinois Wesleyan semester programs. So those are similar to that May term if you're wanting something where you're going with a professor and with a group of students all together. That's going to be that same experience. So you're studying with Wesleyan professors, you're with Wesleyan students, and then you can take some trips together on the weekends and during any holidays while you're abroad. So those are some really great experiences. If anyone happens to be interested in nursing, that IWU Spain trip to Barcelona is actually a program where you can study abroad as a nursing major for the full semester. So we know that's tough to do, but this program was specifically tailored to enable nursing majors to go abroad for a full semester. So the other specific program I like to highlight is the Pembroke College program at Oxford University. So we are one of only 12 United States universities that are invited to send students to Pembroke College. And every year we have anywhere from 4 to 6 students that get accepted when they apply. So a number of our students will go and spend the year at Oxford. It's really cool, very different from our education system here in the United States. So they study more on the tutorial style where you're going to dive really deeply on one subject area and have a lot more one-on-one interaction for your research on that topic. So if it's of interest, let us know. Definitely something to look forward to. Outside of that, though, more than 700 options in over 70 countries. So if I didn't say the country you're specifically looking for or hoping for, I promise there is an option that will be a good fit for you. And lastly, if the school year wasn't a fit for you and you're looking for something a little bit more unique and a way to spend your summer, we also have a program that is a summer internship program abroad. So this is called our Freeman Asia Internship Program. We travel to Japan, Thailand, the Philippines, and Hong Kong. Essentially, sophomores and juniors that are interested will interview during the fall semester with companies in all of those countries, different areas of interest. You don't have to be any set major to apply. You get matched with a company, And then you have a fully funded summer internship opportunity. So your flight is covered, your housing, your visa, all of that sort of stuff is covered for you, plus a living stipend so that you can comfortably live abroad for that. I think it's 3-ish months while you're abroad. So one photo I'll point out here, if anyone is an athlete or has friends or family that are athletes, you might have heard of the company Mizuno. So Mr. Mizuno, the CEO, is an alum of ours. And every year he hosts a few students for us for this program. So you can see down there in that bottom photo, 2 of our interns from a past year. So very popular. In normal years, we'll have 40 to 45 students go. So odds are good you'll have a peer nearby. But definitely feel free to ask questions. Emily is always my guru, go-to gal for study abroad. So if you're interested, definitely throw some questions her way and she can tell you all about her experiences and opportunities for you as well. So the next piece of that puzzle that we talked about, we've talked a little bit about the size of campus and kind of some of our general structure, but I also told you I'd help define the university piece. So small, private, liberal arts university. So we are a private university. And a lot of times people get a little confused when trying to figure out, okay, what's the difference between a college? How's a school a college versus another one's a university? So the distinction is that a university has multiple colleges on its campus. For us, even though we're a small school, we actually have 3 separate colleges. We have the School of Nursing that I've mentioned a few times. So for that program, we have a 100% job placement rate for the past 19 years. So I'm guessing longer than most of you watching have been alive. Our nurses have been employed, which is really awesome to know. We also have a College of Liberal Arts. So this is going to be your traditional liberal arts with a division of business. So your humanities, your natural and social sciences, your second languages, all of that sort of stuff is available through the College of Liberal Arts. And then we have a College of Fine Arts, which is where our Ames School of Art, our School of Music, and our School of Theater Arts are housed. Really great success out of those programs. So our music theater program specifically was recently ranked 7 in the country. So lots of strong performance majors on our campus. I think the benefit to you as a student is that no matter what you're choosing to study, it's pretty easy for us to call across campus and say, you know what, you're a business major, but you want to check out a photography class. That's not a huge deal for us to give a call. Or maybe you're a biology major and say, I'm really passionate about music and I want to keep up with playing trombone. Perfect. We can set you up. Maybe you can even minor in music and keep up with trombone. Same thing, we'll see our theater students take psychology courses, or our nursing students check out film courses. So really, you're going to have a lot of flexibility to tailor your degree and tailor your experience at Wesleyan for the result that you're looking for. So we're big on flexibility. That's definitely something that's important to us. So that last piece of the puzzle, probably the most confusing of all the buzzwords to describe Wesleyan, is the liberal arts piece. So I think there's tons of confusion. What exactly does that mean? And for us, I think it's really about the freedom to explore and create your own experience to however you may want it to be. So my best example for how we do that is the way that we structure our general education classes on campus. If you've heard of gen eds, you've probably heard, a lot of schools will give you a set list of classes they want you to take. Typically, I'll see a history 101, an English 101, maybe public speaking 101, kind of the basics. For us, we don't get that specific with you. So for example, instead of telling you you have to take history 101, we're going to say we want you to take a class on the topic of cultural and historical change. Absolutely, history is a really great fit for that. You also have the option to maybe take a sociology class or a political science class, maybe religion. You're going to have multiple options for any requirement that we ask of you. So that allows you to tailor your experience, which helps as a student. I think you're really, really interested and you're excited to go to class when you picked your classes for yourself. That definitely makes it a little bit more exciting for you. But also on the flip side, you get to then say, okay, once I'm on the job market, once I'm hunting for a job, I'm not only a business major. I also took graphic design courses. I also took psychology courses. So I better know how to market to our clientele. So a lot of exploring, a lot of tailoring your experience to be what you need it to be. I think the next piece of that puzzle is really the support that we can offer. So our faculty are always willing to say yes. I definitely think, I guess something I've heard our faculty say is that Wesleyan's a good place to take risks, because if you fail, is it really failing? You get to try again. You're there supported by your peers and by your faculty. There's never too big of a risk when you're going into this. So we always say yes, we let you do more. I really think we're a place for the multi-talented, multi-passionate student, where we're not here to say, okay, you can only be a bio major. It's you can be a bio major and be a member of our choral groups and also be a student senate leader. You know, it's yes, and what else can you do? And then ultimately, we're here to prepare you for a global and growing world. We know things are constantly changing. Honestly, I guarantee that many of you watching this will have a job one day that us sitting here today have no idea will exist. I guarantee that's going to happen. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you are a critical thinker, you're well-rounded. So as the world keeps changing, you're prepared to raise your hand and say, yeah, this is something totally new. No one in the world has ever done it before, but I can make that change. I can adapt and really be a part of that opportunity. So really, I think a good way that we kind of master and tailor all of these things is through our IWU support system. As you're looking at different schools, I think it's important to kind of reflect on what is your application and admissions process like? Was it pretty easy to get in touch with your admissions counselor? Were they willing to take some time to chat with you? Generally, I think that vibe is similar to the vibe you're going to get once you're an actual student on that campus. So for us, anytime we can, we want to eliminate the politics, eliminate the red tape. We don't want there to be a lot of bureaucracy that you're wading through when you need an answer. So you can kind of see our support system pictured here, very interactive. Everyone is well connected. We know everyone on a first name basis. So it's really easy for me. Today, I had a student ask me a question about academics that I recruited a few years back. It was easy for me to say, you know what, let me put you in touch with Chandra Shipley, our head academic advisor, and she can get you in touch with the right professor. Or maybe I have a student reach out and say, you know what, I'm really wanting to start working on internships and I'm not sure who to contact. No big deal. I'll call Brian over in the Career Center. He'll start connecting you with our alumni and get you started on that next journey. So it's all about the connections. It's all about saying yes. And for us, anyone you ask can put you in touch with any one of these support services that are all here to be student focused and help you out with your opportunities. So with that, I'd love to turn it over, Anthony. So kind of on the topic of our support networks, Anthony, while he is an admissions counselor here with us at Wesleyan, he's also one of our football coaches. So supporting you on the field and then also outside as we're recruiting. So Anthony, I'll turn it over to you if you want to cover the next few slides a little bit and kind of talk about supports on campus and some of our athletics and academic opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the biggest thing about Wesleyan is the supportive nature. We try to support you throughout each and every department. And even with some of the departments, it's mandatory for our professors to kind of have reflective advising in which you're not only meeting with the professor that you're working with, you're meeting with a group of professors within the department that you're studying in which they're helping you maybe factor out some things that you need for graduation, or maybe factor in some internships or different opportunities that you have within that major. So it helps to have that. Also, as it goes to our support, we're big on our diversity and inclusion. And one of the biggest things in that is how we factor you in as a freshman coming in. So one of the biggest things for us is going to be pre-orientation, in which you're meeting some of those diverse populations and those diverse backgrounds that you're coming in and going to be graduating within those 4 years. That we also try to focus on some of those academic experiences. So along with ODI, our Office of Diversity and Inclusion, one of the key things that we do is maybe even our SCP program, which is a summer program for us, but it focuses on landing some of those internships in which maybe you don't hear about during the year, or maybe some students don't necessarily have access to during the year. So it helps to have that as well. We also have diversity dialogue cities. We have webinar talks, a lot of different kind of programming that goes out there as the year to make sure that one, you guys get the support that you need, being from some different populations, but also getting that support and meeting other people on campus that are willing to help you out and make sure that you stay focused throughout those years. Some other support systems that we have is going to be our Lavender graduation with our Rainbow House, really centered about pride, LGBTQ, communities. We have our IWU Interfaith Squad. We have the Multicultural House. We have the Black Student Unit with our Latinx, our co-ed, our salsa foundations. So just connecting you with broad groups of people, maybe some different ethnicities, or maybe just some different people on campus. Just all depending on what you want to do there. We're here to listen. Of course, no campus is going to be free of any issues, but we make sure that we attack our issues head on, especially if anything comes up. You can reach to any faculty that you have. You can reach to anybody within the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. We'll make sure that your voice is heard. We'll make sure that you're taken care of while you are here. If you want to go to the next slide, please. Another big point that we try to, or at least I always encourage students, think about what you want to be involved in. So we're really big on campus life. And I always say it makes you feel connected to the campus community. It makes you feel a part of what's going on at Illinois Wesleyan. With that being said, we have over 120 different student organizations, everything from Nature Walk Club, intramural sports, rock climbing club, equestrian club, anything that you can imagine getting involved in, we probably have it on campus. But the other good thing about it is if we don't have it on campus, you also have the opportunity to bring it to campus, of which you could apply through Student Senate, maybe get some campus funding, or maybe use some faculty help to kickstart a program or organization. So it definitely helps to have that in place as well. A big thing for us is going to be fraternity sorority life. About a third of our campus will be involved in that. I know Casey was involved, I think, in Kappa Delta, correct? And she still works hand in hand with a lot of the sororities that are on campus. Not a big deal if you do get involved, not a big deal if you don't. It being a smaller community basis, everybody gets along with everybody. So it's really just finding your fit and finding where you want to be. We host over 1,000 different campus events per year. With that included 31 different theater productions. We have a great musical theater and theater program at the university in general. So I always encourage students to go out, enjoy some of our shows, support some of your friends that are putting on those plays, those performances. We host 18 different art gallery exhibits or gallery exhibits each year, along with 99 different concerts and recitals as well. So it's always going to be something to do as far as campus. Also, us being in a college town, having Illinois State out here, having Heartland Community College out here, I always say it's going to be something for you to be able to do on each given weekend, on each given day. So, another big thing for us is going to be Titan athletics. I myself was a participant when I graduated through these walls within the 4 years that I was here. We graduated over 133 academic All-Americans within our sports. So I always say we're going to compete both on the field and in the classroom. We do some great things there. We're ranked as one of the top schools in D3 as far as our sports. We have 24 different varsity sports teams. We've had 8 national championship winners since 1997. And D3 does what they call a Learfield Cup ranking, in which they take the top sports at your school and rank you after you finish national play and then conference play. In that, we've ranked in the top 30, and we consistently rank in the top 30 across all NCAA colleges and universities, especially in D3. So we're doing some good things there. I know football specifically, they've won conference championships 2 out of the past 4 years. Men's golf won a national championship last year before everything kind of shut down. Women's golf won a national championship pretty recently. Girls softball has been in the top 4 for the last couple of years as well. So we're doing great things across the board. And whether you play a sport or whether you don't, I always say it's good to find your fit, especially in the university. Maybe it's keen on athletics because one, it brings about a different energy, a different aura to the school. People are excited to go there. Of course, they're excited to brand the name across their chest. So it's always fun to have that as well. So another good aspect. And I'll pass it back over to Casey.
Awesome. Thanks, Anthony. So next we'll kind of go through a little bit in terms of statistics for you. I'm never one to sit and just read you a bunch of stats, but I'll highlight a few over the next few slides that I think are important. So we just recently found out we are rated #1 in the state of Illinois and #7 in the United States for the best colleges to get a job. So I say all of that knowing that I'm talking to a group of students that are not looking for their full-time job today. Don't panic. I know you have a lot of stress on your plate already. You're good, not the big worry. But I hope that we can kind of reduce some of that stress as you pick us for a college. You know, overall, we're a great place that you're going to get a job once you're ready for that next step. I think another piece that will hopefully ease your mind is that we are the #1 school in Illinois for the highest earning graduates. So not only are we going to get you set up for that next step with your job, but also get you set up to make a great living so that you can feel really comfortable in your future. So again, lots more stats for you. A few that I think are really important. One would be our first year return rate toward the second year. So this is the % of students that choose to come back for their second year in college. 91% of our first year students choose to come back to Illinois Wesleyan for their second year. So the national average is somewhere in the 60% range. So a lot more students tend to not return. For us, though, that's not the case. And really, I think that's a story of finding your fit. Absolutely, I think you need to pick a school that's a great academic fit. But more than that, you need to find a place you can call home. It's really hard to wake up in a school every day or in a place every day that doesn't feel like home. So you can definitely see most of our students are finding their fit, they're finding their community on campus, and they're happy in the place that they are so that they want to come back. So I also like to highlight those last two bullet points, and I know we've talked about them a little bit throughout the presentation, but if you are the kind of student that says, yeah, I think I might be interested in a research opportunity, that is very possible. So almost half of our students participate in undergraduate research. Certainly you can partner with a faculty member. If you hear, oh, Dr. Pereira is working on some really cool astrophysics research right now, so I think I want to partner with him. Awesome, let's get you set up and get you connected to work in his lab. Or maybe you have a unique project all of your own that you think, yeah, this is a research project I want to do and something I want to create of my own. Something kind of cool is our faculty, if it is your original research, they will publish your name first when you are published. So most places that I hear of, the faculty tend to publish their name first, but our faculty want to make sure that you're getting credit for your original work. Same thing if a patent or any sort of product emerges, if you create a business as a result of your research, you get profits and you get to retain all rights to your patents. So I know a number of schools will hold the rights to your patent, but for us, nope, we're not holding that. That's your work. We'll be super proud of you and supporting you and hope you'll come back as an alum and share some of your knowledge with our students. Last little piece of data I'll share with you is that 76%, so 2019 is our most recent data we have, 79% of that graduating class participated in an internship. Very, very possible. Honestly, I don't personally know of a student that really wanted an internship that we weren't able to help. It's all about making those connections. Let us know, work with our Career Center and find your right fit. And we'll get you connected early on, whether it's starting out with, hey, maybe I'm going to start with some job shadowing, then move into an internship when I'm a junior, whatever it may be, we're happy to get you connected. So all of that being said, I know every single school you talk with has really great statistics. We're all doing really great stuff for our students. So I understand it can probably be a bit overwhelming to sort through all the data points. One recommendation I have for you is to check out the College Scorecard. So it is a third-party website where you can literally type in all the schools you're looking at and it'll compare them side by side for you. So that way you have all the exact same data side by side from the same source just to check out when you're looking at schools. So jot down that website. College Scorecard is a great resource. And I'll switch it back over to you, Anthony, to talk a little bit about financial aid.
So of course, a big part of any school that you decide to go to, anywhere you decide to go to, is going to be the financial aid piece. Finding out how much it's going to cost to go there. So with us, one of the key things that we do is going to be merit scholarships, and we do those right off the back. Our academic scholarships are going to range to about $10,000 to $34,000, and really a big chunk of that is going to be how well you do in school. I mean, the first thing that we kind of look at there is going to be your transcripts, see what maybe your test scores are like, or see what maybe your GPA is like, and factor into our academic scholarships there. Normally, you'll know that amount right off the bat. So the first letter you get is, hey, you got in, and that along with that letter is going to be a merit scholarship amount. So you know that right off the bat. Our average cost of attendance is going to be right up over $28,000, maybe a little bit less, really kind of depending on family situations. The way that it kind of works out for us, once we get the merit scholarship around and once we get the financial aid package start rolling, you'll get your full financial aid package probably a little bit down the road after you get fully admitted. Now, with that proposal is open-ended, so whatever numbers we bounce to you there, we'll add in your merit scholarship, we'll add in grants, we'll add in anything that you can find outside that's also stacked as far as a scholarship. We'll actually add that into your proposal as well. What numbers we bounce to you there, if they don't work out, if we're still on the pricier side of things, or maybe if you have other schools in which the offers are a little bit different, it gives you that leeway to communicate a little bit back and forth with us, in which we work hand-in-hand financially to try to help you guys out. Not necessarily that we can match anything there, but as much as we're able to help you guys out, as much as your families communicate back and forth with us, we'll be able to take that into account and try to get the ball rolling there. Now, another big piece in that is going to be loans as well. If you do have to take out student loans, we do make sure that you know all the information that you have there. We do have the option in which your parents could take out loans with some Parent Plus loans, but that will come down the road a little bit. Casey, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think just important to know, on average, half of our tuition will be covered by the scholarships and the grants. So those are the pieces you don't have to pay back. But for our students that do take out loans, we did just get data back that we have one of the lowest default rates in the country. So a default rate is essentially you default on a loan if you can't pay it back. So having a low rate means that that doesn't happen to our alumni very often. The vast, vast majority of our alumni are easily able to pay back their loans. So that's something we're proud of. We know most students take out some loans, so it kind of makes us feel secure that we know we're providing them with a solid job afterwards so that it's not a big concern on the loan front. If you do have questions, if you're maybe a junior, sophomore, you're a little bit younger, you can always use the My Intuition Quick College Cost Estimator on our website. So that'll give you just a general idea of how your financial aid will look. If you're a senior, you're probably already in the process. So I would say, let's just get you through the process at this point, and get your FAFSA data and everything in so that we can work with you on your actual numbers. But we'll work with you on that. So that kind of brings us into how to apply. Any seniors watching right now, you might already be in the process. So you might even know one of us. You might have interacted with one of us already through your process. First thing is that we accept the common application. So we welcome either the common app or our private Illinois Wesleyan application. No application fee either way. So truly whatever works for you is fine with us. We also don't require you to do anything separate for your scholarship consideration. So that scholarship that Anthony mentioned to you, that is offered just based on your application to the university. So this year we are test optional. So you are welcome to send in an SAT or ACT score if that was an option for you or if it's something you feel comfortable with. But we also have an optional process where instead of that score, we're going to pay a bit more attention to your essay. So make sure that you're reading that essay prompt and getting your essay proofread and things like that. And then we're also going to conduct a 30-minute interview with you. So it'll be one-on-one on Zoom. I'd say pretty low stress. We're really just trying to get an idea of who are you as a student in the classroom, and then who will you be as a member of our community. So we want to make sure that every student that comes to campus will find their home and be a great fit. So for seniors, I'm sure you're working on that right now. Our early action deadline is November 15th. We will promise you an answer by December 15th if you can get everything in by then. Anyone doing test optional, remember, get everything submitted a little bit in advance, all those transcripts and letters of rec. That way we have time before the deadline to get you set up for your interview. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. If you miss that deadline, really not the end of the world, don't panic. So we'd like you to strive to hit March 15th, and we'll process your application just as soon as we can at that time. Our application will close on May 1. So that's really when we are hoping to hear back from you on, are you coming to Wesleyan? And we hope the answer will be yes. So really last thing is just what's next. Apply fall semester of your senior year for those that are seniors right now. Otherwise, everyone will see you in a year or two. And then we'd love to have you visit. So come to campus, whether that's setting up a virtual visit with us online, we can do a one-on-one chat, or set up an in-person visit with us. We are doing those where you can come, meet with a member of our team, go on a tour of campus with a current student. We're setting up meetings with professors, with coaches, and we even can sit you in on a virtual class so you can kind of get a feel for what things look like for that. We're not doing overnight stays right now because of COVID, but my fingers are crossed that soon that will all be back for everyone. And then if we have any campus events that have some spacing available, we are happy to send you over to those campus events as well. So that is what we have for you. For those of you attending live right now, we should have your information. Anyone watching later that wants to send us your info, you can go to that website or scan that QR code and get the info. You also can always follow up with us later via phone or email, whatever you want to do. And with that, I think we can really open it up to if there are any questions.
There are no questions in the chat yet, so please feel free, send your questions along, and anyone on our panel here will be happy to answer them.
And while we let you type for a second, I will offer a little advice. So for that test optional process, I know we're all in the heart of conducting those interviews. So really my advice is be yourself, come prepared. It is an interview. So come prepared to talk about who you are, all the cool stuff you've done. I always say that the college application process is the time to brag. So I know modesty is a great quality, but don't feel the need to be modest through this process. We want to hear all the cool stuff you're doing. So always feel free to share that information with us. Awesome. Well, I am not seeing any questions. Oh, we do have a question. Awesome. Okay, cool. So a student has a short video that demonstrates their passion. Theirs happens to be ROTC. Any sort of extra stuff that you have, you can always upload that in your application as a portfolio item. So if you have a passion for ROTC or you're a musician or an artist, anything extra that you do and you love, add that as a portfolio item and we can definitely take a look. Specifically to the student interested in ROTC, we do have ROTC on campus. So feel free to reach out and we can connect you with our liaison for that program as well. But that's really cool. Awesome.
As Casey kind of mentioned about interest as well. So thinking of other scholarships that have scholarships, scholarships. So if you are considering music, but you are not a music major, that's another for you, which you get maybe an extra $1,000 per school year. So another thing to consider, especially if you're not.
So he cut out a little bit, but yes, any non-music majors that want to keep up with music, we do have a scholarship available for that. So let us know. Awesome. I see a question about soccer as well. So I'd say if you have tapes, I'm guessing maybe it's tapes, you want to send those to the soccer coach. So anything athletic related, I would recommend working directly with the coach. They probably have found you online or seen video online. But if not, if you're at all concerned, reach out directly to them and they'll work with you through that recruiting process and review your tapes. Awesome. So if you have already applied, you should, if you applied via the Common App, you should be able to log back in and upload that to your Common App. Otherwise, you're welcome just to email the video to your admissions counselor and we can kind of make a note of it. But of course, that would just go to us at that point. It wouldn't go to all your schools. But yes, absolutely. You're welcome to email that to us and we can make a note in your file. Great questions, everyone. Awesome. And if you do think of stuff later, again, always feel free to call or email us. We're happy to put you in touch with the right people anytime you need. Perfect. Well, it looks like we're good. So we can turn it back over for any closing announcements then.
All right. Well, thank you very much to our presenters, of course, for taking time out of their evening. And thank you to all of you who tuned in today. As you may know, if you've done some of these before, or you might be learning for the first time, when you close out, you're going to be given a very quick 4-question survey. We do ask you just fill that out. Let us know how things went, how we can improve. Of course, head to IACAC.org so that way you can see the remaining sessions, but also that way you can check out sessions like this one and many others that have happened because the recordings are all on IACAC.org. So one last thank you to everybody and have a great rest of your day.
Awesome.